Welcome to the Greenbrier Proud Podcast, SEL Edition. My name is Ezra Knight, a senior at the Greenbrier High School. I will be the host of this podcast, and with me I have Assistant Superintendent Ms. Kelly Martin and Director of Mental Health and Behavior Services, Dr. Tricia Benish. We will be explaining the importance of social and emotional learning within the Greenbrier School District, as well as to give different perspectives from other counselors and administration district-wide.
So I'm Kelly Martin. I am currently the assistant superintendent for our secondary schools here in the Greenbrier School District. I actually started in the district 21 years ago when my education career started, and I taught kindergarten and fourth grade in our Westside Elementary School. I was able to also teach fourth grade when Wooster Elementary opened. From there, I was fortunate enough to get to move on to be the assistant principal at Wooster Elementary and eventually the principal. As the years went on, I took over the principalship at Greenbrier Middle School, moved on to doing some director of teaching and learning work with all of our schools, really focusing on curriculum and instruction in different content areas, but really from kindergarten through 12th grade. And now I'm in this position where I do support our secondary schools, but then also support many initiatives and programs we have kindergarten through 12th grade. And one of those at the moment happens to be some new social and emotional learning initiatives that are underway across the district that we are very, very excited about. And we're super excited also to have Dr. Tricia Benish on our team as well now.
Hi, I'm Dr. Tricia Benish, and I'm a licensed child psychologist, but I didn't start out as a psychologist. Early on, I was a teacher and I taught middle school, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade for 3 years. During that time, I learned a lot about the emotional struggles that our youth face, and I decided that I wanted to learn how to help them more. So, school psychology was the logical route for me where I could go and learn more about assessment and therapy practices. So, I went on to obtain my doctorate degree in psychology. After that, I felt that my heart was really interested in pediatrics. So, I completed a postdoctoral training in pediatric psychology at Arkansas Children's Hospital. Since then, I have been practicing for a little over 10 years. I've worked in an early childhood program doing behavior consultation, staff training, and psychological assessments. And then I spent some time in private practice treating a wide range of ages, including very young children and up to young adults, all struggling with mental and behavioral health issues like depression, anxiety, neurodevelopmental disorders, and behavioral disorders. I'm really passionate about helping children and caregivers who have experienced trauma and helping our school put trauma-informed practices into place while enhancing our mental health program. That's why I'm so excited to be part of the SEL initiative for Greenbrier. It really is an opportunity for me to put my experience to work.
Ms. Martin, can you tell us the history behind this SEL initiative and what it means to you and to the district itself?
Yes, I would love to. So, a few years ago, actually several years ago, we created a task force on effectiveness and efficiency, which is a team of educators from across our district that represent each school and different content areas and different grade levels. And that task force took on the idea of how we can continue to improve our already great district, but make things more effective and more efficient for everyone that is involved. So actually about a year and a half ago is when the focus of that team actually went to this social emotional learning, knowing that we are doing, an excellent job supporting students in academic and their growth and their learning, but also knowing there are other types of learning that we need to be supporting our students in, which brings us to social emotional learning. That task force began by analyzing a great resource from the Division of Elementary and Secondary Education here in Arkansas, and that resource was called the Guide for Life program. So basically, the Guide for Life provides an outline of what Arkansas students should be learning when they start kindergarten all the way to upon graduation when it comes to their social and emotional skills. Our counseling team also began analyzing that program, and we really performed just a self-assessment on what we were doing very well in as far as teaching students social and emotional skills, but then where we also had room to grow and how we wanted to address possibly some gaps along the way. So looking at the statewide perspective, the Division of Secondary and Elementary Education also has a goal. While academics are of utmost importance, it also believes that students, in order for them to be successful, they must have this strong foundation of what's called soft skills. And those are just intangible abilities that help people get along with others. It helps students communicate well, make them see that they can give positive contributions in the workplace, at school, and beyond. So we're really talking about the here and now, but we're also talking about preparing kids for the future, whatever that looks like for them. So that's how we have met here today. Our counselors have some other initiatives taking place, and really teacher teams, even in all of our schools, on how we can better support social emotional learning. But our podcast series is one of those initiatives that we're very excited about to bring to you.
Now, Dr. Benish, what is social emotional learning?
Social emotional learning, or SEL, is really a process. It's the process of learning the social and emotional skills that are essential for success in school, work, and in life. They're really the skills that we need to be successful and productive citizens. And really, they're just as important as reading and math are. CASEL, or the Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning, provides some guidance for us, and they define it as the process through which children and adults acquire and effectively apply the knowledge, attitudes, and skills necessary to understand and manage emotions, set and achieve positive goals, feel and show empathy for others, establish and maintain positive relationships, and make responsible decisions. And as Ms. Martin mentioned, we also have the 5 guiding principles of growth, understanding, interaction, decisions, and empathy. Under each one of those critical areas, there are competencies that we recognize that our students need to have as they are becoming adults. And we start out very young teaching them different aspects of these areas. So for growth, for example, we teach kids how to learn to manage themselves. We teach them effective problem-solving skills, how to practice mindfulness, how to persevere whenever the going gets tough. We teach them strategies how to manage difficult emotions and how to express their emotions to others. Under understanding, that's really about learning how to know yourself. We work on increasing self-awareness for students, how they can know and identify their strengths and weaknesses, and help them to develop critical thinking skills. And under the competency of interaction, that's really about building relationships, learning how to get along with others and practice healthy teamwork, how to treat others with respect and communicate effectively, and even to seek out and offer help when needed to others. And then there's decisions. This one has to do with making responsible choices. We teach our students how to consider their personal beliefs, how to have safety in the environments and in situations, how to think through potential consequences of their actions, and how to really put their best self forward. And then the last one is empathy, which is really one of the foundations of all of the competencies. And that's how to be aware of others, how to see others' perspectives and value the feelings of others, and to appreciate diversity.
So, why is it important to have or teach social and emotional skills?
I'll share something on that with some professional development I've been able to participate in. We, as educators, we understand, let's say that a student is struggling or has not been taught how to add fractions. And so our job as educators is to help that student understand how to add fractions or subtract fractions or whatever that math skill may be. But sometimes it's easy, not just at school, but in life, just to assume that someone comes to us and they know a certain social skill, that someone knows how to manage a situation that might have conflict with or among friends or people of opposing views. But the reality of it is that it's still our job too to teach those type of skills, not just math skills or reading skills or science skills, but to actually teach students that if they have never been taught how to manage conflict or how to be an active listener, not just in class, but in all kinds of situations, to truly be a good listener, then we can also teach those skills. Skills can be learned if they don't come naturally to someone. And I'm sure Dr. Benish may want to add on to that too, as far as the why.
Our goal is really that social emotional learning would be embedded in all aspects of learning throughout the day, and that it would start from a very young age and continue all the way through high school.
What does research say about the effects of SEL on students' outcomes?
Well, we know that when social and emotional skills are taught and practiced on a daily basis, they provide a foundation for better adjustment and academic performance. That we can see more positive social behaviors and relationships. We see fewer conduct problems and less emotional distress in our students. We even see improved grades and test scores. We can see decreased aggression and improved positive attitudes towards self and others. We see more helping behaviors when we teach these skills. And research even shows that we can see improved academic performance by 11 percentage points, and that graduates are 2 times more likely to gain a college degree, and that they're more likely to hold a full-time job by age 25 if they have had these skills embedded into their curriculum.
And I'll add on to that as well, with a lot of work and really personal research I have done with career and technical education, and looking at what employees in different community sectors want from their future employers. And a lot of our community partners, I would say locally, but even honestly across the globe, when you consider global education, is they need employees with soft skills. They want to hire employees who are able to collaborate with other people, who have good communication skills, who can take feedback, who are good listeners, but also moving on to the ideas of employees that can persevere through challenges when they're met with a challenge at work, or giving a task that is going to meet a long-term goal. A lot of employers feel like that they can teach people the skills needed for that certain job or whatever that career might be, but sometimes their employers haven't been taught skills like we're talking about. So not that this is all about helping high school kids get a job after school, which of course we would love to support that, but that's just about the bigger idea of being successful in life, not just at school, but wherever you do end up, whether it's college right after high school, or going straight into your career, or maybe neither of those, but being overall successful in all realms of life. We think, obviously, we've got some great things going in our schools with the SEL piece, and hopefully this podcast will be a further support for students. But we really envision something larger that goes well beyond our campuses in the Greenbrier School District, and that this is really a community-wide approach. And I do think Castle gets into that as well, that it is students are obviously the priority, but we also want adult involvement from lots of different perspectives. So that would be a goal of the district. And we actually initiated that this summer when we kind of enrolled our first skill of the school year, was finding courage in starting the school year, since school was going to look so different for everybody this year. So I think, definitely a goal I would want to share is this community-wide approach in this central Arkansas town that already has so much support for its students, but to be able to, go down Highway 65 and through the other highways, and to see different businesses with our skill of the month posted on their marquees, or just talking about that in different student clubs or organizations that even take place off of campus outside of school hours, on teams and different groups like that. That's a huge goal. And we already have such a tight-knit community that support each other, but this to me will add even to that community feel and the culture of Greenbrier.
What is the district's goal with pushing the SEL initiative?
We really want to reach out to families as well and have them as partners in this project. And so that's part of what the podcast is geared at doing, is to create a bridge between what we're doing at school and in the community over to family, and have them involved in every step of the way too. What we know about students is that they learn best when they feel connected, loved, and accepted. So our goals for this project really are to establish those warm and supportive environments for all students through teaching SEL skills, and to embed these skills and learning into the school culture, where it's not just a binder or a set of lessons that are given to a teacher to follow, but it's really customized to meet the specific needs of students, and that the lessons are made to be interesting, that they're practiced on a daily basis, and they're practiced in real life situations, and that they meet the developmental needs of each individual.
To end off this podcast, what other topics will be covered in the SEL series of this podcast?
We have upcoming topics that are really going to be focused on specific skills we're excited to bring to our students and our community. So just to share some of those topics, we'll be looking in our podcast series on being courageous, showing perspective, having accountability, being flexible, showing empathy, advocating for others and ideas, being a leader, honoring diversity, showing cooperation, persevering, reflecting, and then finding harmony in different situations. So how that will be broken down into our podcast will be, first of all, by our excellent counseling team, kindergarten through 12th grade, and our counselors from all of our schools. Some of our counselors are going to be creating podcasts that are very student specific, and how students, regardless of their age, could develop skills such as having accountability for themselves. But then they are also going to be working on other podcasts that's really addressing families and community. So an example of that would be, well, out in our community or in our homes, how can we as a Greenbrier community show empathy to others, or, simply identifying how that's already taking place, and could we take that to another level? Even, within households, how as parents and families can we ensure that as a family we're showing cooperation among our family, but then also with others as well.
We're so excited about this new initiative with our social emotional learning series, and we hope that you will continue to listen in as we have some of our excellent counseling team bringing you exciting information on these topics. You can find all the Greenbrier Proud SEL podcasts on our district YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us.